So I'm looking at a piece here on SI.com where Skenes was asked after the game if he was surprised he came out for the seventh. I think he had thrown already more than 100 pitches. He said he was a little bit surprised, but then he said this, Michael. He said, I know this is never going to happen, but I really do feel like I'm built and conditioned to throw 140 or 150 pitches. Skenes said, I know that happens in college. It doesn't happen in the big leagues anymore. I'm not going to say no when they ask me to face another hitter to go back out there for another inning. Do you think he is built for that? Not necessarily for 140 or 150, but like 120 if need be?
Yeah, I don't know where these numbers came years ago. Why 90? Why 100? And the reason why they say that is because every day is different. Some days 90 feels like 180. And some days, 180 would probably feel like 30. So I think if you're going to ask somebody, you ask the guy that's throwing. And if a guy has self-awareness like Paul does, and he takes care of his body the way he does, I don't think you can say he couldn't. I think you have to be like, okay, who's a better option, even at 130? I don't think we have one, right? Anytime he's on the mound, he's our best option. So at 130 pitches, 140 pitches, I know that's probably not going to happen, but I'm with him. I think he's built for it. He didn't lose velo going in. He went back out at 103, ended that day at 108. I don't know what would be different if he finished that inning and it was 130, because he's already up. He's already out there. So, yeah, I think it's really day to day. And I think as the season goes along, maybe they'll look at that a little bit deeper. I think early on they think, we got to save him now, which I've never been a big believer of. But they have all the analytics. They have everything that they look at. I really think it's really week to week, day to day, depending on that guy, because sometimes those high stress innings in the third inning where you threw 20 pitches, but you had to really buckle down, you're holding on runners, that just wears on you. So that day, 90 may seem like a lot, where you may have a game where there's not a lot of high stress pitches and you can run it up to 140.
ONeal Cruz is really starting to find his stride, Michael, especially in the leadoff spot. What do you think has been different for him in that position, especially leading off games with home runs and getting off to a fast start?
Consistency and taking the lead. So I know it's kind of funny to think about he's leading off. I'm saying take the lead. I think it gives him a spot to shine. And he's a guy that has every single tool. So he's walking more, his chase rate's down, his power's up. And obviously he's 32 for his last 32 stolen bases wise. So it gives him an opportunity to help the team in a multitude of ways. And I think it's, in my opinion, saying, hey, we got this, cake. We're going to put our nice topper on top and let him lead the way. And I really like what he's been able to do. He's not trying to be a leadoff hitter. He's just being himself.
Michael McKenry on the Sullivan Super Service Fan Hotline. Fan Twitter brought to you by South Hills Kia Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. And the text line brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, personal injury law firm, where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. I would recommend this story on SI.com to everybody. Tom Verducci, you see him on the baseball broadcasts all over the place, and he's so good. Listen to this quote from Skenes, Michael. Listen to this one. They're talking about the risk of arm injury with power pitchers and how Skenes studies this and wants to be in the best position to avoid it through knowledge. And he talks about guys like Verlander and Garrett Cole, how he for most of his career avoided this, and Chapman and people like that. So Verducci writes, someday Skenes wants people to look back and study what he did to throw so hard for so long the way he thinks of Cole and Verlander. Listen to this quote from Skenes. He says, yes, that's the goal. Nobody in the big leagues has my stuff. We're writing our own book. Because I've tried it the other way. It doesn't work. It's my game out there. There's no model for me. This is incredible, Michael.
Yes. I mean, every kid on the planet should look at that and say the same thing, even if they're not Paul Skenes.
Yeah.
Every guy on our team should say that because it is your career. No one is you. Now, he's a super freak. He's absolutely phenomenal. He's built different. But you can take bits and pieces from that, and if you can just sprinkle that on the guys around him, you're talking about something super special.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he is writing his own script. I think Chapman is a great example, too. He didn't use that name. Dude's never gotten hurt.
Yeah.
He's still throwing 102. He's 38. And the fact is, it's like he's built different. And that's the one thing with all this arm stuff that you have to look at is like Jared Jones is very similar to Strider. So he has someone he can look at and say, okay, what's he doing that I shouldn't be doing, vice versa. So that way he can make sure that moving forward, maybe he doesn't have any arm issues. And you just use every tool available because, like, I'm a great example. I had 5 knee surgeries. It took a lot of time away from my big league career and my playing career. And I would have loved to know more. But every time I got hurt or every time something happened, my whole thought was like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I get better? He's doing that way prior to even that possibility, which being 22 and being that aware is unbelievable. It's how I mentor kids. I'm like, look at it all, big picture. And my goal is that you don't need me as a coach or a mentor. My goal is that you literally are doing everything and you call for an oil change. And eventually you know how to change your own oil. You're just calling me to say, hey, should I upgrade my oil? And that's it. Like, that's what this guy is. And that's what's so crazy. I'll never forget the story I heard last year, or 2 years ago. He gets drafted. They're doing their exit meetings. And Baker, who was the farm director then, had a list for Skenes. Obviously, probably not a long list. Skenes pulls out his own notebook, takes over the meeting, and Bake goes, you're better than we are. You have a better understanding of what you need to do. Go get it done, big dog.
Now that's,
did you imagine that? 21 years old?
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. That's what I like to hear.
Yes.
Is you know what? If you have a better handle on what you should be doing than we do, great. I like that style of managing.